Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're having a look at our intuition. So I thought I'd bring an awareness up on intuition for anyone who is manifesting people, for example. When we are looking at our intuition, if we look at the term of it, is our inner tuition, meaning that we all hold this built intuition within us. This built intuition within us, from my own perspective anyway, means that we are all smart, we are all knowing, and we are all understanding of each other. And the only reason we don't see it, maybe, for example, in our reality, is only because we are so focused on what we're looking at, for example, our perceptions of things. So when we allow people to be themselves, for example, their inner tuition allows them to open up in a way that is connected to our intuition. So if we are, for example, manifesting specific people or manifesting anyone in general, when we look at things like love, for example, and we are wanting to attract someone into our life, our inner tuition is our guidance to actually attracting the inner tuition of someone else. So when we think about inner tuition, we know that the other person is smart enough to realize it then on their own. When we actually focus too much on the outside and what we are seeing, rather than going in and building on our inner tuition so that we can connect more to the inner tuition of another, we actually are delaying things like the process of how something unfolds. We're delaying the harmony, the peace, the love, the expansiveness of what it means to develop a loving and healthy relationship with someone. So I wanted to bring an awareness on this when we are thinking about anything that we are manifesting. I know I tied it to people there, but it can be with anything. Understand that we are all built with an inner tuition. And no matter what anything looks like on the outside, everyone has it, meaning that everyone has this knowing. And when everyone has this knowing, it means that everybody knows exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So how we actually allow ourselves to come into this is to trust in this actual concept of the inner tuition in others. So when we fall into this knowing and this awareness of built-in inner tuition, not only in ourselves but in everyone's, we can say to ourselves, okay, I can trust that this person is going to show up in a certain way without me having to do anything in the physical reality, because it's their inner tuition. So let's say, for example, we have, maybe we're manifesting someone and they're not showing up in a certain way. And so we do things in our outside reality to maybe manipulate an outcome, or we start stressing, or all of these type of things because we're not seeing the outcome that we want. What this actually tells us, as we know, is our beliefs, but it's not trusting in the other's capability of love. So when we're not trusting in another person's capability of loving us, thinking that we are the ones that has to show up in a certain way in order for them to learn how to love us, that is actually paradoxically us not understanding how to actually show up and love someone ourselves. So what I mean by that is, if we don't have the actual knowing within us in a way that it is natural for us to show up in an unconditional loving way, how are we going to be able to trust in the other person's inner tuition to show up in a loving way as well too? Because we're going to be focused on what they're doing. We're not going to be seeing the whole true expansiveness of what love is. If we truly love ourselves and we are truly in that knowing within ourselves, we're always going to be showing up in a way that actually allows the space for someone to develop their inner tuition on what it means to love someone as well too, if that makes sense. So the reason why I want to bring this up is because when we think about our inner tuition as inner tuition, we know then that it is just obviously our perception, but it's our beliefs that are holding us back, as we know anyway. But when we do this, we take a little bit of the pressure off, because we know that the other person knows exactly how to love as well too. And it's just about trusting in their inner tuition, showing up in a way that is going to unfold in the best way to come into us, to come in to connect to our inner tuition. Now, I know I keep saying inner tuition here, so it might get a bit confusing, but I thought if I brought up an awareness of this concept, this whole idea that that is all we are, is an awareness, and the only thing that really holds us back in anything is our perception and the meanings that we put towards this awareness and what we are seeing in our outside reality. So if we bring an awareness into the present moment and we say to ourselves that we're all built with this inner tuition, we're all born with this innate inner tuition, meaning that this other person knows exactly how to show up in whatever way is desirable for me to experience them. And so really it's just up to me to allow for them to show up, meaning that I connect to my inner tuition by understanding myself on a deeper level, by becoming aware of what these beliefs are that are holding me back. If I'm not seeing somebody showing up in a loving way that I desire, well then what is that saying about my inner tuition? It means that I'm not connected to my inner tuition in a way that is actually telling me that I am actually somebody who is capable of loving somebody in a desirable way. When we look at things that show up in an undesirable way, it's a reflection of what's going on within inside us. So when we see somebody showing up in an undesirable way in love and is triggering us, it is a reflection of what we need to understand about ourselves. And usually it will come down obviously to a belief, but when we understand it from this level of perception, that is when we can understand that it's actually coming down to me. It's coming down to me on how I choose to show up myself. So I should be able to show up and love myself. I should be knowing that I am somebody who is capable of love. If somebody is showing up and I'm thinking that they're not capable of loving me, it's not that they are not capable of loving me, it's that I'm not capable of loving myself in a way that is actually allowing my inner tuition to guide me on this path to love in a way that I trust. I trust the process, I believe in the process, and I have faith in the process. And that is really kind of all everything comes down to. And our affirmations and everything that we use actually are actually getting us into that more centered way of being, where we are becoming more connected to our inner tuition, as I say, and allowing for things to unfold in an easy and effortless way. So I thought I would bring that topic up. If anyone has any questions, you can comment down below. Of course, you can email me at any time as well too. I'm always here to give guidance if you have any questions, and I will chat to you soon.